Hi viewers, it's me again. I'm thankful to God to be alive today. I'm thankful for your support. You've been supporting my channel, subscribing, and I'm really grateful for that. Last week I told you in today's segment we are going to host a very important guest, and the guest is here, and he's living positively, and he was born HIV positive. So before we proceed, let me allow himself to introduce himself to us. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hello guys, I'm Justin Rawinji, and here. Thank you so much.
Karibu
Susan.
sana.
Yeah.
So, Justine,
Yes.
when we met on Facebook and we had a chat, and you told me about your status, and you actually encouraged me on what I'm doing, and you actually told me you're also born positive, you're an activist, and you also work in a field related to people living with HIV. So, give us a story. Tell us about how you knew you were born positive, how it was until you became stable with yourself.
Okay, thank you. And I don't take this opportunity for granted.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so my story is a bit of way back when I was 10 years. That's when I came to realize I was HIV positive. But being a 10-year-old boy, I didn't know what to do,
Yeah.
or where to go, or whom to face.
Sure.
And I didn't know what HIV was, because back then, shules were not teaching much more about HIV, unless it being maybe part of the topic. Okay, so I knew about my status at my dad's deathbed. That's when he told my uncle that this boy is HIV positive.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used to be more than nursing him. Yeah, so after that he died, we went and zikared, and then life started. Life had to go on.
Yeah.
Being that young boy, and we only at that time we are only remaining 3.
Yeah.
So my other sibling, the sister, also was sickly. So she used to be in and out of the hospital. Me, I was still strong. My sister was also 2 years old, was strong. So things were going on well until to school, and then now after finishing my form 4 is when now things started going south.
Okay.
Whereby I realized that I was becoming weak, I was becoming sickly. I had some joint pains all over. Going to the hospital, unapimwa, nothing is found. So that is when now I had to be requested to be tested for TB.
Okay.
Doing all the you remove the kikohozi,
Yeah.
the sputum, nothing is found. Then I had to be referred for an x-ray. So an x-ray found that I had TB, TB adenitis. TB adenitis is the TB of the bones.
Okay.
So that's when I had to be told I have TB. And since you have TB, you have also to be tested for HIV.
Sure.
I had forgotten about HIV. So me, I was going on with my life. So then I was tested for HIV. The doctor told me you're HIV positive, and I was like, oh, that's okay. So how do you take it? And I'm like, how am I supposed to take it? Tell me the way forward. Yeah. Because actually, I was so sick that I couldn't want that somebody continue asking me or telling me some things that are not relevant, or something that will not help my health. Sure. So I was ready to do anything to gain my strength back. So after telling me that, he started saying that now you have to take medicine. But taking medicine means I have to take the TB drugs for like 1 month or so is when you start taking the ARVs. Yes. I consented to, and then now I was becoming weak. I'm in the village, no good food, because maybe poor roads and such. So I had to consult my relatives who are back in the city in Nairobi. talk to them, see if I can get some help, because I had no job.
Sure.
So get help of maybe to take fruits and such. So life now I had to talk to my aunt. I told her I was sick. Can you please be of help?
Yes.
To some extent, that
Yeah.
I can get some fruits or
Yeah.
maybe some good food. Then she was like, why don't you just come to Nairobi? I told her, no, I don't have a problem with that. I'll be so happy. But now you have to talk to my uncle.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who owns me here.
Sure.
So I talked to my uncle. Luckily, my uncle consented. And then I had to travel to Nairobi.
Okay.
Traveling to Nairobi, I came alone, weak. So I came and then I was fikaring in the morning. So kufika in the morning, I had to go to a place, and then that's how now when I started getting drugs from somewhere else, like getting drugs to different hospitals, since I didn't have a transfer letter from where I was coming from. So it went on until I got the transfer letter. But luckily, I started taking drugs where I'm working currently. So the journey was on, and then now we started having groups, that were support groups. Support groups are at the hospital where I work at. It's connected with Matter Hospital. So we used to go for support groups at Matter Hospital. In Matter Hospital, we used to meet youths, we mingle, they give a lunch, and then those days sponsors were nice. We used to get like some handouts, or maybe if you're doing badly off, they give you some food stuff and such. So I started gaining weight. So there's this one day I was seated in the house, and then my aunt called me. My cousins were all away. She called me and told me, sit down. How many drugs are you taking? I told her 4. In a day, how many drugs are you supposed to take? I told her 8. Those are TB drugs. And then she told me, why are you lying to me? I told her, no, I'm not lying. That's the thing. So she asked me to be open, because you are lying. And then she was like, you're HIV positive. I told her, how? I'm okay, I'm not HIV positive. I'm only having TB, and it's TB of the bones. That's why you see me weak. She was like, your mom told me. Because she used to ask my mom when my mom was sick. My mom died of cervical cancer. So, and my dad had stroke. So she told me, you are HIV positive. Your mom told me, so you have nothing to hide. Just come out open. And then I was like, okay, fine. If you know, then who am I to lie? I went and brought out the drugs. We told her these are the drugs I'm taking. So after that, she now started encouraging me. Don't tell anyone, just take it to yourself, check the drugs well, I don't have a problem with that. I won't stigmatize you, blah blah blah. And really, she was really good and very supportive. However much I faced stigma back in the village, but for her she was very nice. I really thank her till date. So that's where things have been today. But at some point my drugs had to fail. That's when I was in first line, because maybe my shock was I was doing well health wise, but then the drugs were failing. My viral load was coming high. So the doctors had to ask questions. I had to do dot to dot. Dot to dot is being monitored while you take your drugs. Somebody comes like to your place when it's time to take your drug, like a CHW, a health, that's a community health worker. They come to your house, they see how you take your drugs on time, but still it couldn't work. So at that moment they had to switch me, but again I was in fear. Then they had to switch me. They gave me 2 reasons. One, the drugs are failing, which I understood. Another one, I told them to give me a chance, a last chance, for like 3 months to do this again, take my drugs. At that time I was on TLE, tenofovir, lamivudine, and efavirenz. Efavirenz was the baddest drug people could ever take in Kenya, because it had a lot of side effects: being weak, being nauseated, feeling headaches. You used to even have some bad dreams. Yeah, so that is the drug I was taking. So it was even making somebody even weaker, because when you get contact to maybe heat, you can even faint. So I had to be changed. To be changed means you have to go to second line, because the first line drugs have failed. So now I have to take like 4 drugs in a day, including Septrin, that makes it 4. The one I take atazanavir and lamivudine and zidovudine, which means you take them twice a day, morning and the evening, a 12-hour range. And then there is atazanavir. You take it once. You take it once in the evening, 24-hour range. So then there is Septrin, which is almost being rolled out for people who are doing viral loads. That was back in 2015 is when I was changed to the second line drugs. From then, I've never had issues with viral load. Viral load has been good. Yeah. So that's why it has all been.
Wow, such a story. I must applaud you. You're such a strong
Thank
person.
you.
Most people who are living positively are still bitter about themselves because they were born. They tend to think it's not their fault, but I really have to applaud you for that. You mentioned something about drugs failing. Did they come to a conclusion as to why you failed from the first line? And also, would you mind to explain to people what is first line regimen, what is second line regimen?
Okay, we have most of the time adherence is key in taking drugs.
Okay.
When you talk of adherence, it means you taking your drugs on time
and daily.
Yeah. So you don't have to miss. Adherence is broad. It includes also if you have multiple sexual partners, that will derail your adherence. It will take down your adherence. And also if you're using condom, that's also one of the things. First line and second line regimen. First line, when you started on drugs, you have to be, those days we used to do CD4s.
Yes.
CD4 count used to go, it started with 150. When you are CD4 is above 150, you used to take Septrin only. That was in the early 1990s, and not even early 90s, in the 80s, that you used to take Septrin. And then when it went to 50 CD4 count cells, you used to also then up to 500. I think it was in 2018 CD4 was rolled out. 2018, 2017, if I'm not wrong. CD4 was rolled out because it was found that it is the reason as to why to some point some drugs are failing. Because you are some patients, not even drug, but some patients are failing to take the drugs because you used to be given Septrins only. So they to take Septrins, but Septrin doesn't show the virus, how amount of the virus that is in your body.
Really?
Yeah. It is only the ARVs that will tell you that this person is adhering well to the drugs.
Yes.
So first line is when you're starting on drugs, they have tested your CD4, which is no longer working at the moment. They will say that this is the amount of the virus that is in your body, and then now that one will determine the kind of drug you'll take. The kind of drug you'll take, it's mostly you have to start with first line, unless when you are at a symptomatic stage of HIV. Yeah, that's where you find that most people are going down, like weight loss, like having herpes zoster, or maybe having some very viral opportunistic infections. Yeah, those are the kind of people that where they'll have to be put on second line drugs immediately. But when you're doing well, you don't have any health issues, you'll have to be put on first line. So when you fail first line drugs, now is when you'll have to be put on second line drugs. First line drugs, when you fail, it means you are doing bad with adherence, or the drugs are failed on you. You're doing well with your health, you're taking your drugs well, but now, like in my case, the drugs failed. The drugs that were given to me were not the ones that were supposed to be given to me. Yeah, that is those are the only two chances somebody you'll have to fail drugs.
Okay.
And then that's where you'll have to be taken from first line to second line. Second line drugs means you have to take more drugs and then powerful drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there, after second line, is there another regimen?
Yeah, there is third line. And third line, you only find it like in 2 or 3 hospitals in Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah, so you don't want to go there. And for you to go to third line, it's a process. You have to take your sample, the sample of blood, for it to be taken. It's only one lab in the whole of this country that tests for mass drug failure to see if you failed first and second line. And that one, it is in Kisumu. And it is taken via a flight. And most hospitals you'll find that you'll cater for that bill of the flight.
Must be expensive.
Yeah, it must be expensive kwa sababu it has to be there within 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, so for a vehicle to move from Nairobi to Kisumu, if it's not private, it means it has to go within 8 hours or 6.
Which is impossible.
Which is impossible for the drug to reach the laboratory.
Yeah.
So the third line is classified as somebody, there are a lot of, there are people who are taking third line, but there are a minimal number of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome to know. That's very informative. I'm glad we are talking about such things.
Yeah.
Most people don't know about that. Okay, there's another question in regards to the drug issues. We normally take Septrin with a combination of ARVs. I understand, as per what I know, my knowledge, you should let me know if I'm wrong or right. It's an antibiotic which protects you from other infections, right? While the ARV suppresses the viral load.
Yeah.
So in regards to, of late, there's scarcity of Septrin, and people are told if your viral load is okay, you shouldn't be taking. Personally, I'm still taking it. I think it guards me a lot. What is your input in regards to this? Is it mandatory? Can you take, once they phase out Septrin, will it affect us, or what do you think? What's your take on that?
I have 2 opinions. One is a yes, and another one is a no. A yes, it means that Septrin are helpful to somebody who is not adherent to their drugs. A no, I feel that is not helpful for somebody who their viral load is suppressed. Reason, when your viral load is suppressed, these ARVs are the ones that boost your immune system.
Okay.
So it makes your viral load suppressed. When your viral load is suppressed, it means for you getting infections near you, attracting infections, new infections is very minimal. So you don't need the Septrins. Okay. And Septrin is just an antibiotic, whereby you feel like you you have an headache after a long day at work, or maybe after a long day of hustling, you go to a chemist and get maramoja, and then you take it and the headache is gone. Yeah, like most of the times, I'm a person whereby I don't buy drugs over the counter. So Septrin does wonders for me. So that's why I feel Septrin is also important to somebody like me, kwa sababu I don't buy drugs over the counter. So when I have headache, when I have issues, I take that Septrin, and that Septrin will help me. If this exceeds to maybe 2 to 3 days, now I have to visit a hospital and then see what's the problem. Yeah. So Septrin to some point is good, and Septrin to some point is not helpful to somebody who their viral load is suppressed.
Okay. Yeah. That's very, very, very informative. I'm glad about that. Yeah. I have another question as well. Yeah. You know, we used to hear these things of kule kitambo, dawa za ukimwi zilikuwa mingi sana, watu wanachoka kumeza. By the time you tested positive, hiyo notion ni ukweli, ama it's just a story that kitambo drugs were many, and like now we only take 1 tab?
It is not all about drugs being many. It is all about drugs being big, which hasn't changed even to date.
Really?
Yeah, it hasn't changed even to date. If you're taking TLD, TLD is big.
Yes.
And if you're taking atazanavir like me, it's also big. So it is just a notion of the drugs were big. The drugs were many, no. It is just a perception of some person who doesn't have information about HIV. Yeah. So that fear and stigma. That's what was causing people to think that maybe HIV drugs are many. So people will have for them not to have to get HIV and then for them not to take many HIV drugs. Yeah.
The reason I asked you that, I'm sure you know about Fenyawiti. When she's an activist as well, there's a time I saw on her timeline, she had posted of the many drugs she used to take before. So for me, I was wondering, why is it that she had so much drugs whereby we only take 1 or 2 drugs? Maybe I thought maybe there were other drugs supporting her system or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I've never asked her about how many drugs she takes, or maybe because we don't communicate.
Yeah.
So even if I see she's somebody, I don't communicate to her a lot. Yeah. Okay. So maybe if I say something, there are 2 things. What I know is first line consists of only 1 drug.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're in second line, like me, you have to take like 3 drugs.
Oh, really?
In a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a combination of atazanavir, that is one, and then you take like lamivudine and zidovudine. Those are 2 drugs per day. Okay. Like 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, like you saw me take them. And then, so maybe somebody has maybe some life issues for them to take more drugs.
Yeah.
That is what I can say about it. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, because when you're taking to third line, then the drugs also have to increase.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
Which I don't think she's on third line.
Yeah.
It's either she's on first line, or first line and taking having issues with other life things.
Yeah. I think it's a post that she posted about long time, not current. So I understand it could be other issues. Yeah. And then now let's go back to your story. You've turned positive. I also have to applaud that you're very strong once again, because most people, especially I've seen people in my journey, my short journey, who are born HIV positive, and they're very bitter with their parents, like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been in this situation. So most people do not really accept. So how was the stigma journey? How did you cope up until where you are? How was it? Did you face any stigma from family, friends? How was it?
Stigma is a disease up to date.
Yes.
Yeah. Disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it will never end.
Yeah.
However much we're trying to be out there, trying to fight it, it's so bad that it will never end. Reason being, we still have that arrogant person, sorry to say, for lack of a better word, who is less in back there in the village, who was born in the 1970s, 1950s, 1960s, wherever, who have that in your mind that HIV is gotten through having multiple sexual partners, or is a curse. So this person will give birth telling their children that HIV is a curse. If you come into my house having HIV, I'll curse you double. So you'll have to go with the HIV and leave my house. I can't carry a child with. So I faced stigma. Yeah, I used to be that person mwenye relatives wouldn't want to walk. Besides, wananiambia wewe umekuja kufanya nini hapa? Rudi home, utaangukia hapa. Unaona? So those kind of things, that was back in my village, but here in town, everybody seems to be on their own. Yeah. Unless in the social media, whereby if you talk about something like that, people think that you want sympathy.
Sure.
Yeah. But I guess when you're past 18, you're past sympathy. Yeah. That's why I do say I'm not an orphan anymore, because I'm past 18. I can eat. I can take care of myself. So what kind of sympathy do I need? I don't need sympathy. I don't need empathy. So me, I'm out there as an activist to encourage somebody for somebody to get that friend they can talk to. I don't need somebody who will come into my inbox and be like, sorry, oh, you are not fine, oh, you are HIV positive. No, that is like a backlog. You're taking me back, and I don't need that. Yeah, because where I was, if I didn't need that.
That is true.
Yeah.
I can concur to that. I always don't like people who come to my inbox. Oh, I'm sorry, you're like this. Like, it's true. You're actually dragging that person back.
And
it's crazy.
Strength should come within yourself.
Yes.
You don't need somebody to strengthen you, because if you can accept to be HIV positive and take drugs, and then why should you blame your parents? Or is it their fault? It's just a matter of you trusting the wrong person.
Yeah.
No. In that marriage.
Yeah.
So if your parent, you are blaming your parent and then they are dead. Who are you to cast them? Who are you to start casting stones on them?
Yes.
It doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
That will mean you'll be bitter with yourself for life.
Yeah.
And you're bitter with yourself, but somebody who's supposed to help you from coming out of this bitterness is dead.
Yeah.
So how does that help you?
That's true.
You're just having negative energy into yourself.
Yeah.
You're bringing something that won't help you at any point in life. Yeah.
I understand that, and that's awesome. So let's talk about you being an activist. But before we talk about that, tell us about how you ended up working where you're working, what you do there, and how has been the journey as well.
Well, as I said, I started being a volunteer as a peer educator hospital, where I was called by a certain TAS nurse. TAS is somebody who deals with the issues to do with patients who are HIV positive. So they have to do your home visit, they have to make sure you're taking your drugs well, blah blah blah. So this lady told me that you look to be a very brave boy, and I want you to do something for me. And then I was like, oh, sure, but it will earn you just a little token, not to take care of your bills, but just a little token. Then I was like, why not? Can do it. Then that was back in 2013, 2014. So I did this volunteer work for like a year or so. A peer educator, we used to go see the youth but we are dealing with the youth. We used to go see the youth who are doing bad with the drugs, encourage them, blah blah blah. And then we used to have support groups, talk to the youths, encourage them, make them mingle together, go out, play together, meet also other facilities, and then we mingle. So it was awesome. I loved it. So now I had also to make a man out of myself. Hustle. I also did graphic design.
Awesome.
Whereby I was taking computer. So after that, now I had to resign.
Okay.
I had to say no, I can't do this anymore. They need me there because I got a job. They need me there.
Awesome.
They also need me here like thrice a week. So I can't multitask. That is for women.
Okay.
So
hey, okay.
So I had to drop this one, and then however much I had passion in it, but luckily when God says yes, nobody can say no.
That is true.
So when I was there, I had to be called back and told, boss, as a counselor, and you did counseling in HIV, we want you. Where? Matter. Tomorrow come with your CV. We're doing an interview.
Awesome.
It was like, wow. I had to rush back home, get my CVs. Actually I didn't have a CV by then. I only had papers. To show that I've gone to school. I've done this and this and this, but I'd never tried a job interview of such. So, because where I was working as the computer thing, it was a company of my cousin, so he took me in. So it went on like that. Then I went for the interview, and then I was interviewed. with a lady, Mzungu, and then I was told, you're going to work, but we have to take you to another branch of ours. That's where I landed myself in Makadara, my sisters, along Jogoro. That's where now they had to take me there, and then I did another interview there, and I got the job. Counselor.
Awesome.
2015, that is, till date.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very awesome. So how has been your experience in where you're working for, since you started working there? How has been your experience with people living with HIV?
Wow, I can say it's a whole bad and good experience. Bad in terms of you meet people who are still in denial. Yeah, we don't want people who are making us lag behind in terms of getting people out of stigma. So when you're in denial, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know why at such a time somebody will be in denial, because we want to take this country whereby nobody will fear HIV, but will fear life-threatening diseases.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe like cancer or something to do with the salt. So I guess that the good thing is I meet people who are also ready to learn and ready to move on and ready to. That is what I love about the job. And also something else I love is encourage people. Make people feel like they're not all alone. We are in this together. We are not here. We are here to hold each other's hands. Yeah. So, but denial is the main thing that is killing people in the terms of HIV. Reasons being, you'll deny yourself and then you go out there, you start infecting others, and then you go out, you start getting life-threatening infections, opportunistic infections, and then kidogo, you're no more. Whom will you blame?
Yourself.
Nobody wants to die at a young age. Nobody wants to die without fulfilling their life. There are things that they want to fulfill in life.
Sure. Yeah. So, this is the interesting question I want to ask you. Are you dating? How has been your relationship life? I know you didn't see this coming, right?
I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah. Dating, it's been wholesome, of nice experience.
Awesome. That's
awesome. Dating somebody, dating in the life is, I call it fun.
Yeah.
I call it fun because you meet people who stigmatize you. You meet people who love you. So, what should I say? I would say for now, I'll hold that back. Because seriously speaking, I'm working on something.
That's
I'm
good.
working on something. Maybe one day, one time, I'll tell you more about it.
Sawa.
Yeah, thank you.
I want you to talk about there's this thing of people when they think they're HIV positive, they have a leeway of sleeping around without a condom. Like, after all, niko na ukimwi, kuna kitu ingine inaweza nistua. You know, most people you hear they don't want to use condoms, they don't want to. I want you to talk to them, tell them how wrong it is when they are not, taking precautions and the consequences. So I really think you being in the medical field, it's even easier for you to explain what exactly it entails.
Having multiple sexual partners, one, it means you'll have, most chances are you will fail to adhere to your drugs. Reasons: when you have multiple sexual partners, whether positive or negative, this is like making the virus to get confused. It's your body. So kirusi akijui kiende wapi ama kifanye nini, kwa sababu unajaribu kumeza dawa kirusi irudi chini, and then you're here trying to have sex all over the way you want. So having multiple sexual partners, it's like it's like you're trying to confuse the virus, as I said. So it is one form of you not adhering to your drugs. So at some point, the reason I was showing negative, I said whether negative or positive, when you are HIV positive and then you're having multiple sexual partners, whether they don't know their status, when you sleep with somebody who is HIV negative, chances are this person might have another infection, a viral infection, maybe the STIs. And when the STIs means it meets with another viral infection that in your body, it's more likely to give you another strain of infection.
Wow.
And then this strain of infection will make you to have another strain of HIV. That's more likely where I was talking about adherence. That means you'll have to fail your drugs.
Yeah.
And you failing your drugs, it means you have to be given another. Okay, but though there's a process.
Yeah.
For you to be taken to another line of there's a process.
Yeah.
A process whereby we have MDT. MDT is a group of whole lot of people where it consists of the counselor, the task nurse, and then there's a nurse, and then there's a pharmacist, and then there's a CEO, clinical officer.
Yeah.
All these people will sit to see where you have gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't think nobody wants to be scolded
Yeah.
at their age as to why you're not taking your drugs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it's either you take your drugs or you choose to do it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing is when you are HIV positive and then you're sleeping around with people who are HIV positive, chances also of getting another HIV strain is very high.
Yeah.
And when you get another HIV strain, failure, drugs will happen. Yeah.
Okay.
But though, as I told you, it has to go through a process for you to decide, or for them to decide for you that you have to be given another drug. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's very informative. So I want you to look at the camera, and those people, as I said before, I've met people who are born HIV positive, but they are very, very bitter, wamejikataa, hawajajikubali. I want you to be an inspiration to them. Speak to them, tell them what is coming from your heart. It's really important, because you being like them, and then they listen to you, maybe one way or another they'll pick something from that and just decide to wake up and move on.
I think, Susan, being an inspiration starts with you.
Yeah, but you know, we are different.
That's what
There are people like me and you who can just rise up and walk. There are people who are very slow and who just want to see something similar, people like them who can encourage them. Because we remember we have different kind of strengths. Most probably yours and mine is quite similar. But there are people out there, they live in fear, and they just need to see that one person who will encourage them, and they feel like, wow, actually I can be like this person. Yeah, you understand my point, yeah? Yeah.
So, just as I was saying, being an inspiration starts with you.
Yes.
You have to inspire yourself to be like that person.
Yes.
So the strength has to come from you. So the youths who are still living back there in fear, yes, I know stigma is there, and I know you all have your fears. I would say, don't let somebody will stigmatize you, and don't tell anybody you meet on the streets. What I would say is, be yourself. Most importantly is adhere to your drugs. And most importantly, look at life in a very positive way. Don't look at life of where you're coming from, but look at life as to where you're going to.
That is true.
Because we all need to be somewhere, sometime in our lives. You don't want any negative energy. Avoid all sorts of negative energy in your life. Because the moment you involve yourself with negative energy, you won't go anywhere. So just stand up as a youth. Help us fight this journey of stigma. And I'm not saying that you come out with the status as I have done, but make sure you inspire somebody in one way or the other. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know there are people who want to reach you, especially I've encountered like men at times are scared to approach ladies. I believe there are men out there who really want to speak to him, who would want him to walk with them. So I am giving him this opportunity. You share your, maybe if your email address, maybe your Facebook page, or a contact whereby they can get through to if they need, because I think it's very important. I'll also share your contacts and everything on this video on my page. So in case everybody goes through it and needs to get through to you, it will just be easier instead of calling me, and they can get directly to you.
Okay.
Yes.
On you reach me Justine Rawinji. Those are my real names, and that's how you get me on Facebook. And my contact is 0715159785. Yeah, 0715159785. I don't have Twitter. I don't have IG. What else? YouTube not yet. Yeah, so I only do Facebook and maybe WhatsApp. Yeah? So actually, if you come to my WhatsApp or you come to my inbox, at least try to be relevant, yeah? Because we need to also, we don't need negative energy, we only need positive energy.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that's
so
very true.
please let's just try and be kwa tuna kaheshima kadogo.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
That's it.
But then he's right. Sometimes you get very funny kind of inboxes until you wonder what's going on. So guys, if you're out there and you need somebody to talk to, Justine is here for you. Do not feel like you're exposing yourself to anyone. He is a certified counselor, so you can imagine you're really talking to a professional. So as I said before, I'm going to share his contacts and everything. And just in case if you still you need to talk to him and you can't get through to him, kindly talk to me. I'll connect you with him. Justine, asante sana. I'm really grateful to meet you physically for the first time, despite you're my friend. This has been a very informative segment, and looking forward to be working with you and to be also mentored. It doesn't matter if you're older than me. I'm older than you, that is. But see, in this journey, you're older than me. So I believe I'll get to learn a lot from you and get inspired more. So asante sana, and I'm grateful.
I'm very grateful too. And thanks to your viewers, and thanks to everybody.
Yeah,
let's walk in this journey together.
Sure.
Tutaki kuacha mtu nyuma.
Kwa hiyo basi tunaenda sisi wote. Yeah.
Ukibaki na sisi tunaenda kana nyo ni shauri.
I'm telling you, hey, ujalo itakumaliza my friend. So thank you so much. Next time.
You're welcome.
Special thanks to our sponsor, that is Professor Joseph Mbele from Minnesota, who has written the book Africans and Americans, talking about different cultural differences that people experience whether they're in abroad or here in Africa. So if you're planning to go abroad, if you're planning to come to Africa and you do not know what it entails, what you should do and what you should not do, I think this is the book you need it. If you're a tour guide, this is the book that you need. If you need to get it, go just to my YouTube channel. My contacts are there. I'll just get it to you. Thank you. I also want to say special thanks to Suke Kidru and Bistro. They've always availed the venue, and I'm really humbled about that. Special thanks to Denzel, my video guy. Your job is awesome. Thank you so much. See you next time.